As President Trump this week reassuring Americans, as he would call it, about the economy. By almost all indicators, the U.S. economy should be the envy of the world. The unemployment rate is low. The average American family makes much more money than a family, say, in Japan. Household income's about $80,000 a year. Japan, just about $37,000. So Americans should be feeling good about our economy. They are not. 65% of Americans report living paycheck to paycheck. Lewis Howes knows all too well about dealing with economic uncertainty. He tells the story about being down on his luck, sleeping on his sister's couch for a year and a half. He turned his life around. New York Times bestselling author, his new book, Make Money Easy, Create Financial Freedom and Live a Richer Life, is out now, and he is with us. It is good to see you. Thank you. Help us understand, and I think this is an important point. Do Americans, you think, have a realistic understanding of the economy, or is it that they talk about how they feel of their own personal economy?
Ooh, I think a lot of people are focused more on their selfish needs and what they desire, what they dream about, what they see everyone else having or acting like they have. And then therefore we need to overspend to feel like we're filling ourselves up with some type of gratitude. But when we overspend on things we don't need, we usually feel trapped, we feel isolated, we feel like it's not enough because we're focusing on the wrong things.
If you were a politician, I would advise you that telling people that they don't need stuff is not a winning strategy. It is a winning strategy for budgeting. Are we seeing a change in how Americans view money?
Well, I think so. Over the last 5 years, with everything from COVID and inflation and just kind of getting free money, that it felt like there was free money everywhere. It felt like this entitlement mentality. Instead of how can I generate value, it's how can I receive as much value as possible for doing the least amount. And we need to start flipping that mindset, flipping that habit on its head and saying, how can I be generous? How can I be a giver? How can I start cultivating value in the world, whether it be in my community, in my career, and developing more skills to add more value into the world? And by doing that, I become more valuable of a person. I can generate more money as well once I add more value.
I guess almost you're describing a culture of victimhood, right? That everything must be handed to me. Gen Z, the youngest of Americans, 32% increase for Gen Z households receiving unemployment. Every generation thinks the younger generation is soft, but is there, you say, a sense of entitlement among a lot of Americans? How do we break that?
Well, a lot is changing. With AI, people are using these tools to accelerate and maximize their time. So either we need to start thinking about how we're doing things differently, or we need to start using the tools to benefit all of us. And I think the older generation or the millennials or the older generation are thinking that the younger generation is lazy, where the younger generation is always thinking that the older generation is outdated and that they need to adopt to the new times. So there's not a right or wrong. It's just where are things heading? We all need to evolve and move into something that is going to happen no matter what.
How much of this is politics, right? That when people feel that their party is in power, they feel like they're doing better. We saw that with the consumer sentiment flip between Democrats and Republicans who thought things were going in the right directions come last November. That said, consumer sentiment, as measured, is at the lowest level second lowest level since the 1950s. 49% feel worse under Trump, 21% feel better. Is this A, political, and B, second worst since the 1950s? That's the 2008 financial crisis. That's the crash of 1987 Black Monday. That's COVID. That's 9/11. That's the Cuban Missile Crisis. Is our standard changing of what we think is things to be confident about?
You know, I think people put a lot of their energy and their either victimhood or their herohood in who's in power or what political party is in power versus how can I take personal responsibility, really not even worry about who's in power or which party's in power, and say, how can I develop more skills and be more resourceful And when we start taking back our own power, start developing more skills and adding more value and being generous in the world, being a generous giver as opposed to a complaining individual about what we're not getting or who's in power or who's not in power, that's when we take our power back. That's when we can become more emotionally free and hopefully become more financially free, no matter what's happening in the world.
Louis, your message would not get you very far in Washington, but clearly it has gotten you far selling books, which I think actually gives us all a little bit of hope because there's people out there who want to read it. Louis Howes, Make Money Easy. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.